Good evening. I'm Grace White here in the KHOU newsroom, along with Rania Mankarios, the CEO of Crime Stoppers. Rania, thank you for being with us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
We wanted to bring you at home behind the scenes of a case that we've been working on alongside Crime Stoppers. It's a case from 2016, a murder case of a 28-year-old woman, Alma Rivera-Melendez, and the suspect that is still on the run, Rania, 5 years later, Bryan Vega-Velez. We also want to show you some pictures that may jog some memories, pictures of her, the victim, alongside Bryan Vega-Velez. We are hoping someone out there will call in a tip tonight to Crime Stoppers and help investigators close this case and get this family justice. Rania, as we start to look at those pictures, what stands out to you about this case?
It's such a heartbreaking case, Grace, like they all are. But, you know, this is a boyfriend-girlfriend situation. Bryan had no criminal history. What we know is that they were arguing over text message. He became jealous and enraged, assuming and thinking that she was potentially cheating on him. He shows up at her place, and what we believe is that he shot and killed her, allegedly. She was found dead about 12:40 a.m. A young woman, 28 years old, still has her whole life ahead of her, looking forward to getting married and having kids one day. The most frustrating part, of course, is he is arrested and charged, and within a month is released on bond, and hasn't been seen since. So we, working with you and the community, are hoping that someone somewhere will give us that critical information so that we can bring Bryan to justice and help provide some type of help for this family that is still grieving the loss of their sister and daughter.
Rania, we work on cases from all different years. This one happens to be from 5 years ago, 2016. So it's not a case that's from the 80s or the 90s. It's a case from recent times that investigators are still asking for help with.
And that's the thing, Grace. You know, the beauty of the way we work is that there is no cold case for Crime Stoppers. We will work on every case and any case. And as you said, this is about 5 years old. But we know that someone somewhere now, this suspect is in Houston or in Puerto Rico or potentially in Florida, as we believe he has ties to all three locations and could be in any one of the three. A tipster still knows and can call Crime Stoppers anonymously. Remember, we never ever know who you are. We will take that information, work with local police departments, work with police departments in Puerto Rico or Miami if need be, because it's critical that this case that Bryan is brought to justice. Look, we cannot live in a city, we cannot live in a community where a murder like this just goes unsolved, or you know, the courts don't act upon it. It's not fair for the family. It's not fair for the community. We don't know what the future holds for Bryan, or if he would strike again if he finds himself in a similar situation. So we've got something about the situation. We've got to, and we rely on the community for help to do that.
And Rania, if people are just joining us, we are going to be featuring this case, this 2016 case, tonight at 10 on the 10 o'clock news. So we're asking people to join us then, but we're also reaching out to the social media audience because we know there are people at home that will be sharing this story and talking about it and may remember something that are out there on social media. And so we want to get the word out to call Crime Stoppers, 713-222-TIPS, as you mentioned. And one thing you'll hear in our story tonight at 10 is an interview with Alma's sister. She actually spoke to us on Zoom, like so many people, even you are, Rania, this evening, but she's from Puerto Rico. So we spoke to her from Puerto Rico about her sister's murder. And one thing we heard from her, Rania, was frustration. She told us she felt like the system is broken.
And the system is broken because when you think of it, you know, a suspect like this has allegedly committed a crime, a murder. You know, we've got to be asking, how is it that it's so easy to be bonded out? How is it that it's so easy to just go back into the community and get completely lost, to be unfound? I mean, we can't function this way. And so we share the family's frustration. We share it deeply. And look, we want to make sure that there's fair punishments, speedy trials, that rehabilitation for suspects, defendants, once they're serving time. But we can't on the front end leave these crimes unsolved and have a system where defendants, especially violent and dangerous defendants, can be bonded out, go back into a community as easily as we've seen that Bryan has. Now, again, where is he? No traces of him. It's unimaginable. It's unconscionable. It used to be unheard of, but now, unfortunately, it's par for the course, but it's still unacceptable.
And Rania, people are just joining us. Again, this is a suspect wanted for murder who, like you said, was arrested and then bonded out of jail, never showed up for his court date. That is where this family's frustration lies now 5 years later. And let's talk about where Bryan Vega-Velez might be. We also interviewed the U.S. Marshals. Tonight, you'll see them in our 10 o'clock piece, or you can watch it afterwards on KHOU.com. We asked the U.S. Marshals, who are now leading up the effort to help Houston police track Bryan Vega-Velez down. We asked them, where do you think he might be? They told us this is a case, Rania, that has crossed state lines. They believe he could be in Florida. He used to have a place there where he lived. He has ties to that community in the Florida area. They also told us it's very possible he could be in Puerto Rico. So Rania, how can people at home and here on social media get involved in this search?
You know, as I said, we have had suspects found as far as Asia. It doesn't matter where he may be at the moment. The point is a tipster somewhere knows something. So listen, if you're watching this in Harris County, please share it with the community you might know in Florida. Please share this with communities you might know in Puerto Rico. Someone somewhere will know something. And together, the system works. The Crime Stoppers program is very powerful. When we're all working together, when we're all looking for the same person, it works. And so up to a $5,000 reward. We want to bring Bryan to justice. We want to provide the family with some type of closure, although none of this brings their loved one back. None of this brings Alma back. But we have to do something, and we can as a community through the power of social media, through the power of contacts, through the power of interviews just like this. We can get the word out. Someone somewhere knows something. Please call us anonymously. You can also submit your tip through our website, crime-stoppers.org, or download our app. It's available in over 22. Please share information.
Rania, one thing that kind of had an impact on me as I was interviewing Alma's sister from Puerto Rico, she said, my sister came to the Houston area to have a better life, that she had these dreams of becoming a mom, having kids, getting married. And at 28 years old, all those dreams are just taken away from her.
It's, Crime Stoppers is on a mission, and we've been on a mission for 40 years to find dangerous suspects and bring them to justice, but also to keep the community safe proactively. But we're really going to be focusing on these wanted murder fugitives. We'll be looking for about 630 over the next year or so. But why? These are men and women charged with murder. Every one of them killed someone that leaves a family behind, that takes the life and the hopes and the dreams of somebody that was living their life. And we've got to city. We believe, and I hope the best of men, best who agree. So you hear about these cases daily, over 300 murders in Houston just this year alone. But we're never going to stop looking. We're never going to stop providing our resource. We're never going to stop having conversations, solutions, and a better tomorrow for all of us who want to call this home. That's the dream. We want to build our career, raise our family, have our investment, to retire. We want Houston to be the greatest city it can be.
And Rania, as we close, I want to give people another look at these pictures. Again, this is a 2016 case, the murder of 28-year-old Alma Rivera-Melendez, and the search for the suspect who Houston police have identified as her boyfriend, Bryan Vega-Velez. Today, he would be 43 years old. Again, U.S. Marshals telling us he could possibly be in the Florida area or in Puerto Rico, where he's from. Again, we'll have this story coming up for you tonight at 10 o'clock on the news. But Rania here asking people people also on social media to step in, help this family find justice. You can call 713-222-TIPS. Thank you, Rania, so much for joining us, and we'll see all of you tonight at 10 o'clock. Have a good night.
Good night.